Brief. Today we interviewed Peet Denny. He's a founding partner at Climate VC, a climate-focused VC firm based in the UK. We spoke about one of the companies they have invested on, Global OTEC, that's delivering ocean thermal energy conversion technology to small island developing states. Their first client is São Tomé and Príncipe in West Africa. They have also the interest of Tonga's Prime Minister and are working with the government of the Canary Islands. The 3.5 million euros received from Horizon Europe, the European Fund for Research and Innovation, will be put to use to support Global OTEC's research and development to design a storm-proof OTEC system. Thank you very much for watching the UN in Brief and listening to us on Apple Podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe.
Governments queuing up to use their technology, because the technology itself delivers clean baseload energy, and the baseload aspect is important because that means that unlike solar and unlike wind, it's on all the time. It's on day or night, rain or shine, wind or no wind, it's on all of the time. And it also doesn't use up any land space, which if you're a small island developing state, you don't have a lot of land to use. A lot of the land in a country like Sao Tome will either be rainforest, pristine, virgin rainforest that's never been deforested, or it'll be agricultural land. And clearly we don't want to stop either of those two modalities in order to install power. So OTEC is a good choice for those markets.
They received 3.5 million euros of investment from Horizon Europe, funding mechanism for innovation.
And what was exciting about that is that they chose Sao Tome as which is a small island off the coast of Gabon in Western Africa. They chose that market to be the first installation they did because there's no storms there. There's never any storms. The maximum sea height that they've seen over the past 100 years is only like 2 meters, whereas they need to do the R&D to make sure that this technology will work in regular waters, in the stormy waters of the Caribbean, for example. And so what this £3.5 million grant will do is to fund the R&D needed to do this research in the Canary Islands to prepare them for their future markets. One of the big supporters of this project has been the Prime Minister of Tonga. Tonga is only 2 meters above sea level. So when the sea level rises a little bit, that has a really big effect on the island of Tonga. And of course, these islands are not producing anywhere near sufficient emissions to be a cause at all of global warming, but they're the main, they're suffering the most of it. So it's pleasantly ironic that these nations are able to kind of incubate a technology which is going to help with the green energy transition and help us to reduce our energy emissions overall.
Tell us a bit more about the fund. The fund was launched just a couple of months ago, if I understand well, or you've been operational for a couple of years yet already?
We launched in earnest in November 2021. We made our first investments in November, in February 2022. And our mission is, as a firm, so Fund 1 is part of the firm, which is called Climate VC. The firm, we want to have an impact of a gigaton over the next 15 years. That's what I want to spend the rest of my career doing, a gigaton of carbon dioxide and equivalents. Our first fund is a UK-based fund. We invest in UK-based companies that have a global reach. Any company that we think has got a clear path towards 10 megatons of CO2e impact per year. So we've invested in a number of different types of verticals. The energy one that we spoke about, we've got something in the freight space, which is very interesting. An electromagnets and AI startup that helps move freight off the road and onto the rail, which is obviously a lot easier to decarbonize. We're also very excited about anything to do with removals. We've partnered with a big removals company in the UK. And so we like nature-based and engineered solutions in the removal space.
So you have 2 companies already that you have invested, or there are more?
We've got eight companies. So we've got, of course, the classic forestry and peatlands restoration company, which is a removals company called Treeconomy. They've got carbon in the ground right now. That's what they've done. There's another company which is an agroforestry company that grow foraged carbon negative food ingredients in the rainforests of Guatemala and Mexico. So they grow this type of bread nut, which is carbon negative. So that means the tree absorbs the CO2, and then as this nut grows, it forces the CO2 down into the soil where it is mineralized, turned into a mineral, which then will stay in the soil for hundreds or thousands of years. That's pretty interesting. And then they will sell those nuts to as an alternative to wheat flour for food ingredients to companies like Unilever and so on. We've a very interesting one that we've done recently is in the carbon removal space. If you've got companies that do things like biochar or enhanced weathering that are very intensive, they require a lot of capital up front, then we've invested in a company that ensures the delivery of the carbon removal. So if an organization like British Airways or a cement company buys 10 years worth of carbon, then this company that we've just invested in, Kita, they will guarantee delivery of that carbon at the price that you've just paid. They're probably financially one of our most successful companies so far. They've just raised again at 6.5x what we invested in them in May. We invested in a very exciting enhanced weathering company called Undo. So they take rock, they grind it up, and they spread it on soil, and that will speed up the weathering process to kind of suck CO2 out of the air and bind it in the soil. We've also got a low emission steel. So steel, as we know, is responsible for, steel along with concrete is responsible for 19% of emissions. Steel's not going away anytime soon, but this company, Deep Meta, helped to produce steel in a way which is much, much lower emissions by removing the errors that are present in steel. I'm sure I'm forgetting some.
Well, anyhow, they seem like fantastic ways of addressing the climate crisis, right? And this is your focus. And have you been to any of the UN conferences yet? COP27, were you there last year?
We went to COP26. I didn't get to COP27. I intend to be at COP28. Yeah. Will you be there at COP28?
Yes, I hope so. Yes, we are looking forward. And also there is the Least Developed Countries Conference that's happening in March, right? In Qatar.
Very exciting time to be alive. You know, it's a critical time, but it can also be viewed as an exciting time because there is so much change happening at the moment. And I think we've still got every chance of getting this right and of making the change where, you know, we create a better, more equitable, more fair world where we manage to live well with this ecosystem that we live in.
Right. Yes. If we finally get up to speed too, right? If we really start going forward now. Well, thank you so much. It was really a pleasure speaking with you, and I look forward to continuing the conversation. Thank you for watching and listening to the UN Brief, and don't forget to subscribe to us on our Apple Podcasts and here on YouTube.